Today we're going to talk about the Pythagorean Theorem. Somewhere around 500 BC, there was a philosopher named Pythagoras. And he discovered something very interesting about right triangles. Now in geometry we love right triangles. And what he discovered, here we have a right triangle. If you take these two legs, now the legs are the two sides that form the right angle, okay? If you square this leg, you've got a side of 3, square it, you get 3 squared, which is 9. This leg is 4, if you square it, you get a square of 16. And what he discovered is that these legs squared will equal the area of this square. This is 5, and this is 25 units. This is 16 units, and that's 9 units. 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. 9 plus 16 is 25. That will always come out to the square of the hypotenuse. In any right triangle, the sum of the square of the legs equals the square of the hypotenuse. This is only good on a right triangle. The legs are the shorter sides that make the right angle. The hypotenuse is the longest side, and it is the side opposite the right angle, always. Okay? The Pythagorean theorem then states a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are the length of your legs and c is the length of your hypotenuse. Well, now that we've learned how to deal with squares and square roots, we can solve some triangle problems. So let's find the length of a hypotenuse. Here we have a triangle. It has a leg of 15 inches and a leg of 20 inches. And we want to know what the hypotenuse is, and I'm going to call it C. We usually use lowercase for the sides of a triangle. Well, we're going to start with our theorem. Now, please remember when you're doing these problems, okay, in your homework, you must draw your picture, you must label it with what you know and what you don't know. List that data and or put it on your drawing. Always start with your theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 15 squared plus 20 squared equals c squared. We're going to pull off our dimensions that we were given, and now we have an equation with an unknown variable c. 225 plus 400 equals c squared once we evaluate the powers. Well, that means that c squared has to equal 625, and we're going to take the square root of both sides and find that c is the square root of 625, which is 25. So c is going to equal 25 inches. And if you double check that, 15 squared times 20 squared should equal 625, which is 25 squared. Therefore, answer the question, the length of the hypotenuse is 25 inches. Let's go to our practical problem here. This one's in your book. Camping. You're setting up a tent, and you've got to tie down this tent. The ropes are 5 feet. Here's the rope. It attaches to the tent 3 feet above the ground, right there. Obviously, this should be a right angle, going straight down on the side of that tent. We want to know how far out from the tent is that going to be staked. Well, let's put down our formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And let's list this, okay? A is going to equal 3 feet. B is our unknown. And c is our hypotenuse, which is 5 feet. List that data and let's plug it in with direct substitution right here. 3 squared is 9, b squared is stays, 5 squared is 25. You could follow that down to a b of 4. Answer the question. Each rope will be staked 4 feet from the base. Here are some guided practice problems that I would like you to work out. I want you to pause the video and see if you can work these out using the Pythagorean theorem. And then I'm going to post the answers. And there are the answers. So I hope you did well on those. Go look for your mistakes if you didn't. Now remember, once you know the three sides, you can find things like the perimeter, okay, and do some practical problems in the word problem section of your book. That's all I have for you today.